Hello everyone, welcome back to MixbusTv. Hope you're having a great day and welcome to another rapid fire Q&A episode. I know you guys love this series, but remember to keep it going. I need your questions, so go crazy in the comment down below. Before we start, check the info box down below for my mixing courses on ProMix Academy and also special offers and discounts on plugins. But now you can also become a MixbusTv member. If you click the join button down here, you will find one under every video on MixbusTv. You can become a MixbusTv member. That means not only you're gonna support the channel and allow me to make more videos and better content, but most important, you will have access to members only content, posts, video, chats, live streams. So click the join button down here. Feel free to take a look. Let's get to today's question. John Judd Music: David, your content is always so excellent and top shelf. Never a single moment of BS on this channel. Thank you. How do you future-proof your finished session? Obviously, you have the final print as the finished work as well as saving the session, but do you take any other action like printing stems? And he goes on by saying there could be few plugins missing if you open a session like 5 years later. And this is a very good question because since the digital era, saving sessions like this is possible. And this is a good thing on one hand, but on the other hand, that is the problem. Every client expects for you to save their sessions and keep them in storage for who knows how long, 10 years, 20 years. And I had clients asking me for session dating years earlier. So let's take a look at this. Well, first of all, like I said, before the digital era, this wasn't a thing. It was analog only. So you could not save the session. You had the printed mix and that was it. What you had back then were recalls on the console. If you had an SSL, you had the computer, but you still had to recall all the channels and all the outboard. So you had to have, first of all, a list of channels written on a piece of paper. The vocals goes out from the SSL and this EQ, this compressor, this whatever, and then comes back and this is the EQ, and that goes for every track. So it didn't happen that often to have a client bring in a session from 2, 3, 4 years earlier and reopen it, okay? Even revisions weren't that common. Revisions happened day by day. Now revisions is like the next week, you know? And this is possible because of digital, of course, and right now and in the future even more with digitally controlled hardware. That's why I try to get all my gear digitally controlled, because that's the future. It's basically hardware. It sounds like hardware, 100% analog, but it recalls like digital. This is a good thing because again, we can save the session, we can reopen it, and maybe years later there are remixes, there are new versions, there are remastered. But the problem is that software changes so often that sometimes, most times, maybe you change your computer, you lost an iLok, you open a session and 5 plugins are missing, or 2 plugins are missing, but they were on every track, or 50 tracks out of 100, you know? That unfortunately happens very often, and how you future-proof it, you don't, really. The only thing you can do is save the session, and that's it. Put it on a hardware, and then leave the hardware on a, you know, on a shelf. And if you're a mix engineer, a professional mix engineer, make sure to always ask the client if they want you to save the session to keep them in storage. They're gonna buy a hardware, which is theirs. You save it, you put it there, you either keep it yourself or you give it to the client. So pay attention, especially when you deal with labels, who has the responsibility of storing the session, okay? Because a lost session on a high budget project could cost you a lot of money. As for plugins and other things, you really can't. Either you always make sure that you keep all the plugins that you ever bought, or some plugin is gonna be missing, okay? My advice is, yes, of course, you start printing stems. That's the main thing. And if there's some tracks that are characteristic on a mix, they have maybe a specific chain of effects plugins, or maybe they have a combination. Like for me, it happens often that I have like 2, 3 plugins on one track, and then I go out to a guitar pedal. I use those a lot, and then I twist them, or you know, I do automation. I actually move the pedals while I'm re-recording the track, just print the track. Okay, if you have a specific sound that you came up with a bunch of patching things left and right, you will never remember, just print it. Okay, and along with the stems, at least you have that one characteristic sound. If you lose the plugin or if you can't find the chain back, you can recover it somehow. But that's all you can do, printing stems and try to keep tracks of your plugins. For example, there's a lot of project in which I have Pro Q2, and now with Pro Q3, they're not back compatible. So if you have Pro Q3, you open an old session and it will not change it automatically to Pro Q3 if you had Pro Q2 on the old project. So I keep a Pro Q2 plugin for that reason, because I've been using it on so many projects that I need to have it to open, a new session. So then you open it, and then of course, if that happens, you open Pro Q3, you copy the settings, and just you get rid of it. But it's a process. So yeah, there's no way to really future-proof plugins unless keeping all the plugins forever. That's the thing. And that's also what companies usually hope for when they give you long demo periods, like 6 month, 3 months demo period, or some give you a year. Because you start mixing with them, you forget that is a demo, and then you have to buy it, or it in so many projects you have to buy it, which is a good, it's a good policy, because it means you're using the plugin. So, but yeah, I hope this answered the question. There's really no way other than this. And this is it for this video. This is a rapid Q&A. We'll keep it short. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like. Check the join button. Check the info box down below. Go crazy with the questions in the comment down below. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.